Undocumented, unafraid.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. My name is Maria. I'm undocumented. I am a fourth-year student here at Dominican. I'm about to graduate in May. I'm also a member of the Dominican Immigrant Student Collective, DISC. We're a group of undocumented students and allies who meet every Monday at 11:30 at the Ministry Center to talk about how to bring awareness about issues that affect undocumented students on campus and how to support each other and just learn more about this, about immigration in general. So this event here today is part of the National Coming Out of the Shadows month, which is March, where undocumented students, undocumented immigrants, workers, parents come out of the shadows. They share their stories as undocumented people, and by doing that, they put a face to the immigration issue. To let people know that we're not just statistics, we're actual human beings, we're people. And so there's several events all across Illinois. There was one at the detention center here, and there was one on Sunday in Chicago, and today we're gonna have one here, the first coming out of the shadows rally here at Dominican. And we're gonna be hearing from undocumented students, Dominican students, allies and faculty, and as they're gonna share their stories about being undocumented and what it's like to be an ally in this movement. So, thank you.
Okay, hello. I was born in Cuernavaca, Mexico.
Right up next to your mouth.
I was born in Cuernavaca, Mexico, but I have lived in the United States since I was 3. It was not my choice. My parents just wanted to survive. I grew up in this country. I know the Star-Spangled Banner more than I know El Himno Mexicano. I grew up knowing I was different, and for that reason, I tried to be the best at everything. I was an excellent student with the best grades, played sports, and served the community. But then, junior year of high school hit me. It did not matter if I was dedicated and hardworking. I liked the most important thing, asocial. That number that makes you so powerful. That number that makes everything easy. Just that number. Millions of questions came to my head. Would I be able to continue on with my education? That education I prepared all my life for? Would I even afford it? I got accepted to all the schools I applied to, all of them. But I couldn't afford them. I couldn't get loans, I couldn't get financial aid, and I was not eligible for most scholarships. It was just that number that I lacked. Those numbers that seemed insignificant on a blank sheet of paper, but that came close to destroying my dreams. Luckily, I had the support of my family. We cried together, we suffered together, but then we grew strong together. That social was not going to stop me from achieving what I wanted. It did not matter if I traveled to the other side of the world to go to school. I was willing to do anything. When I started contacting my family in Mexico to arrange my return, my mom cried. She did not want me to leave. I did not want to go back either. I was going to a land I was born, but to the place I was not familiar. I didn't show it. I did not want my parents to see me suffer. I remained strong. Then, I received that letter that gave us hope. I came from work and saw tears in my mom's eyes. I immediately thought the worst. She hugged me and said that I wasn't leaving her side. I did not understand until she handed me the letter. I was granted a scholarship at Dominican. My hard work had paid off. Tears ran down my face. I hugged my family and we cried together. I was accepted to Dominican and given a scholarship. Not much, but it gave us hope. I also got a job at a clothing store. Have been working there for almost 4 years. Was able to move to a management position in less than a year. I am currently paying for school out of my pocket. Some people think I am crazy, but that hunger to succeed has given me the strength to accomplish it. That strength to make it happen. I will be graduating this year debt-free. I can laugh at that number's face when I get a chance to see it, because I won the battle. It did not destroy my dreams. It made me fight a hard battle, but I had no choice. Much has been sacrificed and lost, not only by me, but my whole family. It took the privilege of saying those last words to my grandparents before their death, the privilege of going to my cousins' bodas and quinceañeras. Regardless, I still thank it for coming so late, because it made me the woman I am today, and has made my family strong. To some, I might be a bad person for breaking the law, driving without a license, and working under a fake social. But I am just like anyone else that is willing to do anything to accomplish their dreams. If you close one door, I will find a way to open another. My name is Merari Baena. I am undocumented, and I am not ashamed.
One of my biggest passions is working with kids with autism. It brings me great joy and passion to know that they can find friendship in me. Last semester, I was hired to work at a recreation center for kids with mental disabilities. I could not have been more ecstatic that they saw enough passion in me to get hired. That enthusiasm turned into tears when I learned that I needed a background check before being hired. Being undocumented meant I could not get a background check because the lack of a social security number meant I would not be found in the system. I cried the entire walk from main campus to Prairie, hating myself, feeling anger towards my parents when they decided to bring me to this country as a 2-year-old baby. I felt hopelessness crippling me. I was fuming with anger and frustration. Despite the smiles that working with these kids bring me, I am a faceless statistic in this country. I am constantly tortured by the labels such as illegal and alien, as if I was not human, as if my abilities and strengths were only measured by a piece of paper, as if I am not worthy of fulfilling my dreams because to this country I am just another faceless number. And while this country debates back and forth between supporting me or deporting me, I am barely hanging on to the string of fear, anxiety, and doubt. I am tired of feeling invisible in this country. I am tired of the disappointment that rushes through my body when I learn I cannot enjoy boxed lunches in Japan like the rest of my classmates, or save a life by donating blood, and that despite the new program made by Obama, I still cannot get FAFSA to allow me to pay for the education that this country says is so valuable. But not because I am not deserving of it. I am deserving of it. But rather because this country does not allow me to. Because the lack of those 9 digits owns my dreams, owns my happiness, and owns my life. It's time I break the chains of frustration, anger, and invisibility. I am more than a statistic. I am courage, I am strength, I am brilliance, I am passion, and I am a fighter. My name is Stephanie. I am undocumented, unafraid, and unapologetic.
Like anyone else who is not a descendant of Native Americans, I have immigrant stories on both sides of my family. My mom's ancestors fled from Ireland to the United States and Canada because of famine. My dad's mother and her family fled from Lithuania during World War II, crossing borders without documents and bringing only what they could carry. After 2 years, they got visas to the United States and started their lives in Chicago. Her family valued education, and my grandmother became a doctor. She is now 90 years old and considers herself a Lithuanian American. Like undocumented immigrants today, my immigrant ancestors sought to be safe, have food to eat, and to contribute to society. One perspective that has shaped my life is living with a disability. Like undocumented immigrants, people with disabilities are a marginalized group. Essential medical and independent living services for people with disabilities are often the first programs to be cut by the government. Without these programs, people with disabilities are forced to live in institutions, separate and isolated from the rest of society. In my conversations with my friends who are undocumented, and in my time at the Broadview Detention Center, I hear painful stories. I see children crying as their undocumented, hardworking, non-criminal parent is deported. An undocumented mother whose citizen son was killed in war, who is detained and awaiting deportation. A father who is my age and shows up for a job interview and human resources calls the police. These stories remind me of my peers with disabilities. People with disabilities are denied full participation in society because we are seen as burdensome and less than fully human. People who are undocumented are denied full participation in society because they are seen as burdensome and less than fully human. All any of us really wants is a fair shake so that we can live safe and full lives. I am proud to be part of a university that supports students, both documented and undocumented. My name is David Gaze, and I am an ally and a friend.
My parents came to this country in the 60s with una esperanza, the hope of providing a better quality of life for their family back in Mexico. My brave mother left her 3- and 4-year-old children behind and crossed the border on her own, risking her life and letting faith guide her every step. After 2 years of non-stop work, my parents were able to bring their children to the U.S. and made it their home. My brother and sister faced the challenge of assimilation. Not knowing a single word of English, they began school just a few days after their arrival to the U.S. They too formed a part of an early generation of dreamers, disenfranchised but hopeful and hardworking. I am here today on this campus and am part of this profession because of my family's struggles. It is their courage and their determination that made it possible in just 1 generation for their youngest daughter and sister to obtain a PhD. It was this heritage that also motivated me to attend a screening at Dominican of the renowned documentary papers about undocumented students in the U.S. As I heard the testimonies, I felt angry and frustrated because the only difference between many of their experiences and my own was a few years and being born in this country. I was reminded that I had an obligation and a responsibility to our community of students because they represented my legacy and my family's struggle to earn the very rights these students were so desperately seeking. All it took for me that day was to introduce myself and to extend an offer of help. Soon after, I had the privilege of meeting 2 undocumented students and an ally who invited me to join them. I was deeply impressed by their sincerity and trust in reaching out to me. I am grateful to Fanny, David, and Rafael for leading me in their direction and those who have followed, but also for educating me along the way and inspiring me with their fearlessness in the face of injustice. As a member of the Dominican community, in the spirit of Caritas et Veritas, I call on you, students, colleagues, friends, to continue to inform yourselves about our undocumented students and their needs on this campus, as well as in Chicago and in our nation. Stand with us today and beyond. If we have access to resources, if we have the right to vote, we can enact change. deferred action is only one step forward. We need to pass the DREAM Act nationally. We need to stop deportations, stop separating families, and ensure an inclusive immigration reform. My name is Rogelia Lily Ibarra. I'm an associate professor of Spanish at Dominican University. I am con la frente en alto, the daughter of Mexican immigrants, and I stand here proudly as an ally of undocumented students.
Hi everyone, my name is Ariana. This is my second year here at Dominican. I'm undocumented. And as many of you know, and as you've heard from Professor Ibarra, a campus and the university that's very supportive of undocumented students. And one of the most supportive persons here is our president, Donna Carroll. And unfortunately, she couldn't be here, but she did send out some remarks that I'm going to read to you now. She says, I so wish that I could stand with you today to advocate for the rights of undocumented students and to applaud the courageous voices of those students speaking out. Please know that you have my support personally and on behalf of Dominican University. The Catholic Social Justice mission of Dominican University and our relationship-centered Dominican culture makes your struggle our struggle, because we care and because it is the right thing to do. I am proud that so many undocumented students have found Dominican to be a receptive and supportive environment in which to study. Your leadership and advocacy are very real expressions of Caritas de Veritas. The purpose of a university is to develop talent. When we see talent, it is our moral responsibility to create opportunities for students to express, shape, and employ that talent. This is why I support the DREAM Act and seek responsible immigration reform. I am with you in spirit, Donna M. Carroll. And thank you all for coming, first off. If you are interested in being part of our group, as Maria mentioned, we're a very new group here, but you are more than welcome to join us. We meet every Monday at the Ministry Center. And at this time, I know it's really cold, but once again, thank you for coming. And if anybody has anything that they want to share, we would like to open up the mic for anybody who's an ally or for anyone who wants to share their testimony or anything. Please at this time feel free to do so. Thank you.
Hello everyone. I do want to start off by giving them a round of applause because what they did is very brave and courageous. So. It does take a lot of courage and bravery to share your story, especially when you're undocumented. One of the themes that you saw with Stephanie's and Mirari's story was the inability to get a social security number and how that affects them. My dad came here when he was illegal about 20 years ago, and he told me a little bit about his story, how he got here and how he had to cross the desert, go through a river. I never asked much because it's one of those stories that you don't want to reopen the wounds, and some things are just better left untold. But like I said, in this case, it's very important to share your story. So anyway, I will share what I have to say in regards to being an ally and how we can make this a better country as a whole. I was born here in Chicago, not because I wanted to, but because my dad was here. As soon as my dad got here, he got pregnant with my mom, and my mom had me and my brother. I am a twin, and as soon as we were born, she took us back to Mexico to be raised for 8 years. So as you can see, there's they came here and I went the other way, in a sense. So I guess they're more American than I, in that sense. So I went to kindergarten when I was in Mexico, went to first grade, grew up in a farm with horses and cows. And while they were living the city life, I'm living the farm life. And when I was 8, my parents decided to go back to Chicago. At first, I just thought it was a kind of a vacation trip, and soon enough, they enrolled me in school. I never questioned them. I mean, after all, city life was a little bit better than the farm life. So I was here, started 2nd grade, 3rd, 4th, 5th, so on. Went to high school, hit junior year, and like Mirari said, it hit her pretty hard when she had to apply for college. I didn't go through that. My friends were applying to different universities and colleges, and some of my friends did tell me that they weren't applying, and it was the same situation as what they were going through. They're saying, and I asked them, why is it that you're not applying to college? Why is it that you're not going? Well, I don't have a social security number. And at that time, I'm thinking, well, what is a social security number? What is it? But my parents had been going through the whole paperwork and providing the number for me. And in a sense, we're not very different. The only difference that we do have is a number. That's all it is. That I have a social security number, and I'm very fortunate and thankful for having that. But I do want to emphasize the fact that we're not different. All that's different, we've practically been living the same life, except for the different countries in that sense. But again, we're not different. We're human beings. We all have deserve the same right, even though we don't. And it's just hard to face that. I mean, some of us who do have social security numbers, we take that for granted. I'm not saying that you guys do, but it's one of the things that they do value it more than we do. So, round of applause for them again. At this time, I do want to continue on with this. If anyone, any ally, Dominican student, faculty, professor, wants to say anything, you're more than welcome to do so now.
So I wore my t-shirt, but it's too cold to wear a t-shirt. But illegal immigration started in 1492. Let's not forget. So in the beginning of February, I had the occasion to go to New York. A cousin of mine was getting married, and it was my father's side of the family. My father was born in Bulgaria, my mother was born in Portugal, and I was born in New York. They met in New York, and both of them came with papers, all of that. But in the meantime, both of them separately brought more of their family from their home country. My mother brought her mother, sister, cousins, all sorts of people. And my father's family came afterwards, many years later. I was already not even living in New York. And so at this wedding, I met people in my family that I didn't even know, that I had never met before. Some of whom, as it turns out, are undocumented, in the country without legal papers, doing the same thing as everybody else, trying to make it, trying to have a job, trying to live, trying to pay their bills, raising their children, just being people, you know. So it comes in all colors. People are undocumented in this country from every single country in the world. It isn't something that is exclusive to one ethnic group or another. And you may have somebody in your family who's undocumented and you didn't even know about it. So go figure.
Hi, my name's Janae, and I'm an ally. My uncle was illegal for a long time. He's from Mexico. He came here and he got married to my aunt, and they had 3 kids. But for some odd reason, some kind of paperwork didn't go through. So last summer, he got deported back to Mexico. And when he got deported, his wife was pregnant. So they were having issues because he was like the only income, because she was at home being pregnant. So he was one of the only incomes that they had. So we had to pitch in to pay something as small as a cell phone bill, because it was really difficult for everybody. And the youngest one, when he left, I think she was still 3. And she was not very happy that he wasn't around for school and making her lunch and stuff like that. So she wasn't very happy at all. I went to their house a lot to visit, and things were weird and it was awkward because we were used to him, because on Sundays he has this thing where on Sundays it was his day to like cook and clean instead of his wife. But like then he wasn't there, and it was really, really awkward for everybody, and it sucked. It took us a long time just to try to get him back. And the baby's name was Maria, and she was born before he got back. So a month after she was born, we kind of got him back after a lot of tests and money that we had to pay. And he had to take this really hard test he was telling me about, and I still have no idea what it is, and he was telling me some questions that I don't even know. So I'm just like, for some reason he had to answer the questions on this test that I have no idea what the answers were to. And it sucked, and it's no fun. So I'm proudly an ally of illegal immigrants, and I hope this whole thing changes.
Every time the subject comes up and any of you give voice to your own stories, I am incredibly moved. So I am proud to work with you. I am proud that you're Dominicans, and I am proud to be part of your family. I'm an ally.
So I just want to share something real quick. When I was younger, let's say high school age, I used to joke around, with my friends. I was born with one foot in Mexico and one foot in the U.S. Like somehow I didn't land in the river. I don't know how that happened. And like after a while, some of my friends started believing me that I was actually born on the border. And I was like, no, like I haven't even seen the border until I traveled. But it's the fact that, again, there is no difference, as Marco said. It's just we were born on the right side at the right time. And if you think about it, all of the dreamers that are here, or all of the dreamers that are represented, they're only here because the parents got them here, because the parents came over. So it's just, we can't forget to advocate for our parents as well, our uncles, our grandparents. Just don't forget about them, because we already made so much progress, but there's still so much more to be done. Random comment, I have little quarter sheets about the group that is sponsoring this event. If you want more, because I have 12 of them, like, there's little information at the bottom. If you want to get that, I'll be over on this side over here.
Okay, thank you all once again for sticking around, and thank you to the undocumented youth and students here at Dominican who decided to share their stories today, and also thank you to the allies that came out and also in support. One thing, and I always get asked how you can be an ally to undocumented youth. And you can do it in various ways. You can do it by showing up to a rally, by getting involved and seeing in what way you can do. And another very important way is also kind of changing a little bit of the way in which we talk with our friends and with our families about undocumented immigrants. Like in the media, we always hear people use the I word to refer to undocumented immigrants, and personally, myself and other undocumented students find it that it's a word that is very heavy, and it's very very offensive. Thank you for supporting, but it's very important to also be conscious of the way in which undocumented students like to be referred to as. and for most of the time it is undocumented rather than the I word. So thank you all for coming, and thank you all for sharing your stories and testimonies today. And I hope that all of you will also come to our meetings.
Ariana mentioned ways that you might be an ally, and for faculty and staff especially, next Thursday, so a week from today, same time at 2:30, there's going to be a presentation by a panel to help us understand how we as faculty and staff can better support our undocumented students. So I want to thank Lily and Gil and Jody and Roberta and others who really were instrumental in making that happen. So please take advantage of this if you're a faculty or staff. Is there anything else?
We'll continue to circulate the flyer, but just as Matt mentioned, next Thursday, March 21st, in the CTLE Palmer 115A, 2:30 to 3:20, we'll have 3 speakers: Tanya Cabrera, who's Associate Director of Minority Outreach and Undocumented Student Liaison at Illinois Institute Technology; Tanya Unsueta, co-founder of Immigrant Youth Justice League, a Dreamer activist; and Michael Jarecki, who's an attorney of U.S. Immigration. So thank you again for coming.